Welcome back to today, guys. It's time for another Shojo New chapter review. Welcome once again. We're going to be reviewing Shojo New chapter 5, which released today, September 1st. Usually releases on Sundays, so I'm not really sure why it released or if there'll be another chapter on Sunday, but this video will release on Mondays as per usual. Shojo New releases on my channel on Mondays, so if there is another chapter, then I'll release it eventually throughout the week. Um, it is an interesting chapter. The story continues, and we finally have the next thing. Now, before anything, guys, if you haven't done so by now, make sure you are subscribing to this channel. Especially if you like this series, I will be reviewing it chapter by chapter. Um, Hopefully until it ends. But we'll see. I have other series as well that I'm reviewing, like the Elusive Samurai that I brought back this past week, as well as the Ichinose family, which I have been reviewing here, and we'll be bringing back Kingdom of Z hopefully this week as well. So, yeah, a lot of stuff coming up, and I'm excited to be on a good groove of recording, way ahead of the weeks ahead that are going to be more busier. So we are following Ria and Marie in this chapter. Now Ria and Marie met Mimizuku, who we don't know really who he is. In fact, there's a point where Ria says that's not probably even his name. And Mimizuku ends up being a friend less than a foe. And he shares to them that essentially he's there to help. He can share intel, and he also mentions that he lives in Limbo. Now, I, like many, probably read that and kind of just assumed that he meant he lives here and there, right? Well, it continues like we see that his way of getting intel is a lot better than the government because he knew that Ria and Marie were the ones that killed the kids, the YouTubers, and like yeah, he knows like a lot of them already, more than what the government knows. So even if they don't know as characters, we as readers know that Mimizuku is actually a better intel person than most of the government. Like who's looking for that? So yeah, they become friends. Marie's happy to have another friend, and then as they're walking off, Ria's mentioning about Limbo being this like city that is almost fantasy. It's almost only in legends, and it's an underground city. And they're like, how could he live in Limbo? He that doesn't exist, right? It's just said that it exists. Now, side note on that, I assume that this is gonna be where they end up. I also think that that's going to be kind of more of the world without robots or maybe coexisting better with robots, and the whole world that he knows of is actually more a facade of what's really out there. Now, don't know if that's exactly what it is, but I feel that's the direction it's going. The chapter ends with Marie actually being kidnapped. She's walking way ahead of Ria. She gets picked up by a van randomly. Now, again, they're in this like dangerous city. They're not like in a good place. So Ria's like, "Don't get too ahead. Like you're gonna get kidnapped," and she does get kidnapped. Now, we all know Marie can defend herself. She was actually, but right before she attacks the attackers, she overhears them talking about how they're from the Yakuza, which is like the mafia in Japan, and how they're gonna rise up in the mafia now that they got this girl who's gonna bring a lot of profit, and she basically is so excited to learn about the mafia that she decides to stay. That's the end of the chapter. Um, I'm wondering if the mafia is as bad as as bad as they are. I guess in the real world, the real world they're bad, but they mess with more with bad people, right? If you're in those type of deals and things, then that's what ends up happening. Whereas this world, I feel like they might actually be good guys, and she might actually gain some, some allies. Now, I don't know if that's completely true. It could be another instance where she ends up seeing some of these guys torturing robots, and she ends up losing it again and killing left and right, which we have seen her done that twice already. So yeah, we might have another massacre in our hands, but we might actually have more allies. And on top of that, we also might see if Limbo is true. Like, if I feel like if it was true, that's where the mafia headquarters would be. So yeah. Oh well, good series, guys. Again, this released September 1st, so if you were as surprised as I was, I'm sure Japan has their own reason why they release stuff earlier, or why stuff releases a certain time. Obviously, for us here in the U.S., it's Labor Day weekend, but our holidays are not like their holidays, and vice versa. So, because there was other manga that also released September 1st. So, oh well. Thank you guys so much for watching this. If you haven't done so by now, make sure you subscribe to my channel, give some love, a comment, liking, and sharing, and I will see you guys next time. Like always, don't be strangers. See you guys.